What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcast. It's time for another beautiful day of reading here in Sunless Skies. My name is Splattercat. Really happy to have you with me today. We're picking up where we left off. We're in Wolvesy Station right now, back at New Winchester. We've got another prospect over here to take it out to... We got to go to Titania, to the northeast, with 5 verdant seeds. We don't even really have the inventory space for that, but you can complete these in partial. You don't have to do them all at the exact same time, like part and parcel. Like, I don't have to drop off 5 all at once. We can drop off, like, 1 today, and then, like, a week or 2 from now, we can drop off 3 or 4 more. Other things that we have available to us, we also have a quest to go up to Port Prosper, and it looks to me like we already have the souls in our inventory, so I think we'll probably go ahead and do that. Let me repair my locomotive real fast, because we've taken a little bit of damage. Not a lot, but it'll cost us about 18 sovereigns, and then on top of that, I'm going to restock up, because I'm the kind of person that likes to have lots of supplies. I don't like to be out of things, and so there we go. We've got enough supplies to last us for a little while, and it's time for us to set off on the road. Where is... Prosper is to the northwest of Winchester. All right. Let's go have a little look. So we've never been to Prosper. My guess is that it's probably over here. Port Prosper is always along the edge of the map. I have been playing in my free time, by the way. This is not completely blind anymore. Like, I sort of know what I'm doing at this point. I've played about 15 or 20 hours. The game got under my skin, and I've gotten a little addicted to it. But I haven't gotten further than the first map. I am still, after like 20 hours, doing quests on the first map, and I haven't even gone to Albion yet. There's 4 maps, by the way, in case you didn't know. There's the Reach, there's Eleutheria, there's Blue Kingdom, and there is Albion. And these are all of varying sizes. They are quite large, though, and every single one is basically stacked with content. So this is one of those games, you're going to get a lot of mileage out of it. Like, this is one of those games where you drop your 20, 30 bucks or whatever it is, but you're going to be playing this game for like weeks if you really get addicted to it, if you want to see this thing through to its conclusion. We'll go to the northwest. I think it's probably going to be like right here, would be my guess. If I had to throw it out there from like previous locations it's been on my other playthroughs when it's been to the northwest. So, nice little slow trip off to see what we can do. Have we leveled up at all? So we were a revolutionary, we were a scarred revolutionary who also spent a whole bunch of time in a sanitarium getting rid of our nightmares and learning what's real and what is not. And so apparently that scar left us heavily damaged, and it took us some time to recover from it mentally. That's one of the things I like about the level up like system in this game, is that it gives you a backstory. If you like sort of do a little bit of imagination and you connect the events to one another, you can get a very, very clear picture of who your character is by the time you hit level 15 or level 20. There is some bleed over after you start to run out of level up bonuses, so like everybody ends up in prison at some point or another, but hey, is that... Oh, we can dock right here. Settlers who live so far beyond the edge of civilization relish the hardships of solitude. They will fiercely defend their small territories, but occasionally welcome trade. Okay, well they've got the ants here that we needed for that quest that was up at the preserve, so we can do that. Yeah. A few shovelfuls of dirt into a glass tank, and you've got thousands of crawlers to bring to the phlegmatic researcher. Alright, sounds good. I'm going to try and keep myself from bashing into a wall here if I can. I would really, really encourage you, learn to use your Q and E strafe keys. They're very, very important. We got a bad guy over here too. So let's go ahead and bust some shots at him. He'll probably fire back, but that's okay. What would combat be without him shooting back? We've pushed him back slightly. I'm going to wait for my heat to go down. Well, I'm going to miss that shot. We'll try that. Yeah, there we go. There's another little hit. And unload on him. I'm okay with overheating because he's outside of his functional range right now, so he's not going to get a shot off until our heat's gone away. And down he goes. We have defeated the Marauder. Let's go see what's inside of his chassis over here. You approach the buckled wreckage, poised to plunder the plunderers. Behind you, someone is humming a song of victory. The crew of the Marauder lie dead in the corridor, killed not by your guns but by knives and small arms fire. The only survivor is the captain, locked in the brig with a bottle of brandy. Chalk eyes stare back from every wall. When he ran out of chalk, he began scraping them with his fingernails. Little remains of them but bloodied stumps. Seen this before, Captain, says a crew member, grasping your arm. Sky madness. Magdalens can treat it if you can be bothered to take the poor sod. Yeah, let's do it. We'll bring him on board. What could go wrong adding a crazy guy to our ship? The crew wrap the sky-maddened captain in blankets, then secure them tightly with belts. It takes 4 men to transport him safely to your locomotive. He might not be happy restrained, but it should keep him from harm until you get him to Magdalene's. Magdalene's is to the west. I think we already found Magdalene's in this playthrough, right? Oh, we can also loot the hold. Nice. It looks like we got fuel. Looks good. We're not going to be able to carry. Oh, we got an uncanny specimen. You pry the lid off. Dear God, what is that? Your navigator pokes the thing inside with a big stick until assured that it is dead. So we got an uncanny specimen. Magdalen's is over there. We could take a swing around and turn him in. Let's go do it. We'll go to Magdalen's first. It'll be an opportunity to grab a port report anyways. We are going to have to decide who we want to side with in this playthrough. So there's two forces in the Reach that you're going to want to pick who you identify with more. There's the rebels, essentially the browncoats, the people that are fighting to make the stars free of any type of influence and basically just turn it into the Wild West. They don't really have a plan for managing or ruling the area. They just don't want anybody in charge, basically. They're anarchists. And then you can also side with the Queen, if you really want to help bring order and civility and the old reign, essentially, to the area. It's up to you who you want to side with. In my opinion, it changes things. Like, it will change, like, the influences and the people you interact with, but not so incredibly that, like, it's not a decision that's going to ruin your life if you make the wrong choice. It's basically a storyline decision about who's going to conquer and rule space. There we go. Let's wipe him out real fast because I don't think he was too interested in fighting us anyways. We'll go ahead and swing on in over here. And you approach the buckled wreckage poised to plunder the plunderers. We can either raid the safe, which will give us money, or we can explore the captain's cabin. For right now, I think it's a better idea to explore the captain's cabin. The cabin door did not survive the onset of your guns, nor did the captain. You have to tread carefully. The carpet cannot be saved. A few scorched documents sit on a bronze wood desk. They make for some interesting reading. Apparently, London had need of a few brave captains willing to bring fire to the Tackities. You would not have expected the signatories of the order. So the Tackities are the revolutionaries, and the Wayward Company, I believe, is in charge of the Queen's affairs in space. I've done both on my stream playthrough at twitch.tv/SplatterCatGaming. I've sided with the Queen. And in my personal playthrough, I've sided with the Tackities and almost completely run the Queen out of space as of right now. It doesn't really matter which you pick. I think that if you side with the Tackities, it's a little bit more risky because the Queen has bigger guns but better rewards for fighting her. So if you take down one of the Queen's ships, you get a lot more treasure, but it's very, very dangerous taking down one of her dreadnoughts. If you side against the Tackities, they're kind of like weak targets. They aren't that hard to kill, but they do come in numbers. And then also on top of that, their loot is not quite as good as what you get from the Queen's guys, but it's easier to turn in their quest rewards too, because in order to turn in the trophies that you get from the Queen's ships, you got to go to a very dangerous place in order to turn those in. And so it is definitely more risky to side with the Tackities if you're looking just for like the risk-averse solution. The wreck gleams with frost. The windows are dark and its engine's silent. Perhaps there's something in there. I'll probably strip her for repairs. I mean, we're missing 1 HP because I ran into the wall over there. All right, off we go. Let's head over to Magdalen's. Hopefully we don't have any combat or anything else along the way. Honestly, I don't really care if we have combat. I've gotten fairly decent at fighting in this game. Like, I sort of know what I'm doing at this point. Some weapon upgrades would be nice to make the situation a little bit safer, but I'm not going to panic and cry about it if we don't get it. That shot was way off, guy. I don't know who you were aiming at, but it must have been a fly on the wall because it wasn't me. Oh, I ran out of heat. I wasn't paying attention to my heat. Took a little bit of damage right there. Not too bad. We'll loot this over here. We're going to take sovereigns this time around so that we can finance the repairs. We got 14 bucks, and coincidentally, that's basically what it's going to cost us to repair our ship. So, good stuff. Let's continue off to Magdalen's, and once we find Magdalen's, we're going to head north, and we're going to see if we can find our way to Port Prosper along the way and make ourselves a little bit of cash. Magdalen's on the horizon here. We're going to go turn in this Star Madden guy, maybe make a little bit of money off of that, and then we'll push up to the north. We'll grab our port report from here, which is an extra 100 sovereigns. Money does come easier in this game than it does in Sunless Seas. Sunless Seas, it's difficult to make a lot of money unless you know some very specific trade routes or quests. This game, it's very, very easy to make money. If you just play the game naturally, you will accumulate cash as long as you're not making totally ridiculous decisions. Let's go to Magdalen's House of Comforts. It looks like we already have the port report from here. That's a bummer. Let's go ahead and deliver the Sky Madden captain. The nurses bring a stretcher to carry the Sky Madden captain from your train. He'll receive the care of Magdalen's finest. Well, at least Magdalen's finest with a sense of charity, given that he has nothing on him to pay for the ministrations. We got 100 XP for that, and we also got a Vision of the Heavens, which is actually pretty valuable. It's not crazy valuable. It's worth about 100 sovereigns in there somewhere. It's useful for some of the quests, though. It looks like the Amenable host has requested us by name, so let's go talk to him. An attendant escorts you through the dazzling violet corridors. The host's red door is always open. The attendant leaves you just as the clock begins to chime. The amenable host reclines on a couch of crushed velvet with a goblet of sparkling wine in his long fingers. Somewhere in the tower above him, the great clock ticks away. As a policy, the host's atrium isn't really open to guests. He's available to hear opinions, friendly criticism, or is always open to guests. I'm sorry, I'm bad at reading. He's available to hear opinions, friendly criticism, and suggestions, but today, he's got a headache. He beckons you close. His voice is soft and sibilant like butter melting in candlelight. A guest has become rather too attached to a particular attendant. He always requests that the same attendant appear in the exact same guise. The amenable host's lip curls in distaste. He reiterates the aim of Magdalen's, a place of healing and respite. It was not meant to feed obsession or self-indulgent self-loathing. This guest brings sickness, and I would have him purged. I have a dossier on him if you're interested in helping. That's fine. So we'll take that right there. And so we're going to help get rid of this guy. The amenable host smiles indulgently. So glad you want to help. He produces a thin sliver of pages and passes them to you. I'd recommend taking on the role of one of our attendants. That way you'd be playing the role of someone significant to him. The amenable host sighs, reaching for his goblet. He knows all of our attendants by voice now. Someone new is needed. Okay. We'll go take care of that real fast. We'll deal with the guest. He stands on the threshold of the treatment chambers, his hands trembling. The attendants on duty have been briefed as to your involvement. How do you plan to deal with them? A treatment chamber has been emptied for you should you wish to adopt a guise from the past. Alternatively, he stood right there. He doesn't seem to have noticed you. His eyes instead boring through the doors of the treatment rooms. So we can approach it directly and just like kick his ass. We can disguise ourselves as his mom, or we can disguise ourselves as his lover. Okay, I guess I'll dress up. The attendant daubs your lips with the correct shade and finishes coloring your eyes. He likes them to be jovial. He cannot bear it when you're sad. This proves correct. When the lachrymose guest appears, you weep, you lie, you wheedle. You are unhappy here doing this. By the end, you're both in tears. Neither of you will be returning here again as you are. All right, we'll go back to the host, and we will report what we have done. The amenable host smiles beatifically. Of course, my staff are going to be pleased. It's a risk of our trade when our clients can't really separate identity and illusion, and it's seldom pleasant. He sighs deeply, echoing around the chamber like a newly freed dove. It's a trap that any of us could fall into. His face darkens briefly. Here, take this. He fishes around beneath the couch for one of the goblets. It'll fetch a pretty price. Take it with my thanks and visit again. $100. I'll take it. Better than nothing. Over here at the bazaar, they don't have anything on sale. We can, however, grab some more fuel while we're in the neighborhood. Let's go ahead and take these souls on up to Port Prosper. There's usually a big gun battle happening right here in between the factions. I don't see them around, though. My guess is that if we go through the fallows to, like, right there, I bet you that's where it is. I've got a feeling. Like, this game is kind of like Sunless Skies, where you can figure out where things are sometimes at just by playing the game a lot. Like in the first game, Port Palmerston is always along the northern edge of the map. You know, like the Abbey is usually up there too. And the settlers who live so far beyond the edge of civilization relish the hardships of solitude. I believe we've already read this one. Here is an abandoned homestead with its roof sagged, its windows empty of glass. For every settler that makes a life for themselves in the reach, another is lost. Well, let's search it. We failed. That's a bummer. You recover food tins and old wax-stoppered bottles from the house. During your search, you find signs of a struggle. Broken plates, toppled chairs, a bullet that's dug into a lintel. I don't know what a lintel is, but it sounds like something that you're not supposed to shoot. So, I'm just going to accept that. We've gained trophies, but we also got 5 tear. Oh, that's not that bad. I guess I'll throw away the supply that we just got. I don't really have room for it. One of the first things that I've really found is necessary in this game is that you want to expand your inventory about as soon as possible, because a lot of the work in this game is just freight travel and trucking. And so if you don't have like the room inside your hold, you can't pick up the bonus items and things that you're going to be getting a lot of the time from the fights you get into. There's one of Her Majesty's dreadnoughts right there fighting with a tackety ship. These things are dangerous. Be careful. These things can shred your health bar in one burst. The tacketies are much easier to fight by comparison. But like I said, risk versus reward. You kill a dreadnought, you make a bunch of money. You kill off a tackety, like, you might make money, you might not. Let's send out the bat and see what he finds. She finds. The bat finds. Hopefully it finds something good for us. The scout returns and has found something, but that's way off to our east. We're not going that way. So that's going to have to remain on the map for right now. We've got another sunken ship over here. 2 sunken ships, in fact. The Choco. Choke they did. It's true. Let's see here. We can repair the hull. Yeah, let's just repair the hull. That's fine. Sometimes when you go up against these things, something will spawn after you loot them. It's an unpleasant fact of looting Space Wrecks is that sometimes pirates or Cthulhu monsters show up. The Cthulhu monsters are super dangerous. I'm pretty far into the game in my playthrough, and they're still a threat. Like, I've got, like, a new train with, like, a bunch of guns on it that are way more powerful than what we've got right now. And they still, if I position improperly, can kick my ass pretty easily. I'm thinking we're probably getting close to Port Palmerston up here. A broken habitation that has long been abandoned. However, we don't have an assaying kit, so we can't really use that. Yeah, I think I'm sorry, not Palmerston. I think Port Prosper is probably right up here, given the amount of battle that we're seeing right now. There it is. In fact, I didn't even need to send out the bat. We found it. Huzzah. Let's go ahead and push up this way. I've noticed that the AI drives very, very dangerously. I get run into by the AI all the time. Like, they will just make a beeline straight for me and then endo the front end of their train into the side of my ass. They do it all the time, and it's become a frustration for me. So you know what? I'm going to vent that frustration right now. They drive like crazy people. All right? They drive like they're on the 80 after 5 o'clock. It's rough. Crammed at the foot of a hulking crag, Port Prosper is a little London, divided into an affluent West End and an impecunious East. Queen's Cross is a busy station crowded with engines that have arrived through the nearby transit relay from Albion. Now let's go to the bazaar first and unload these. There's 450 sovereigns and 150 XP. They've got a bargain on verdant seeds right now. I actually think that's a pretty good pickup because we took a commission to take those over to Titania. Titania is kind of far, but I think we could collect a decent payday off of these. Usually they sell for like 75 a piece when they're part of a prospect, and so we'll basically be tripling our money right there if we can move those over to that side. That doesn't count anything else that we find along the way either that we might pick up, so might be worth it. Queen's Cross Station, crammed at the foot of a hulking crag. We've already done that. We have the fastidious inspector, the clock lady, so we'll drop her off. She disembarks with her bag in hand and peers up at a clock tower that's being raised above the station. It's tangled with scaffolding and rings with the sound of hammers and the cries of workmen. All right, let's take our pay. Thank you, Captain. Here's the balance of our agreement and, as promised, a requisition order for fuel and supplies. Given the apparent state of construction, I'd recommend you visit the worksite. There may be an opportunity there. And thank you for the pleasant conversation, Captain. The sky can be a lonely place, and you've enlivened it. I've included a small additional sum in your remuneration as a token of my gratitude. Nice, we got an extra $50. Sweet. You get that if you actually, like, talk to her and have a conversation and you compliment her, and then also if you pick the proper side. So she's a loyalist. She sticks with the queen. If you stick with the queen as well, I think you get a bonus for that, too. We can't hold all these supplies, which is a bummer. The plan to call it the Albert clock in memory of the departed prince consort, but there's a way to go yet. The roof isn't finished, and the clock neither ticks nor bongs. You can see the fastidious inspector up among the workings with a spanner and a can of oil, showing the workmen how it's done. All right, what do they need? Bronzewood, the foreman wheezes bluntly. On one consignment. They'll sell it at Trader's Wood and Palmyra and Plenty's, I hear. There's also a gourd of chorister nectar as well. This bunch of work-shy ingrates need a constant shouting at, and my voice has given up the ghost. Some nectar should have me bellowing again like a champion. Coralon's your best bet there, or Titania, the flower town. We'll pay either way. Okay. I don't have the materials. There is some other stuff we can do here. I would like to grab a port report because money's money at this point in the game. The factories continue to belch out smoke while over the bridge hopeful crowds gather outside the Admiral Nelson. Lovers can be seen strolling arm in arm along the promenade at a respectful distance from their chaperones. There was a brief protest outside the Windward Company factory which was swiftly quelled. The scones at the Nelson were as good as ever, though the piquancy of the jam was less than might be desired. It's a niche word right there. It's not a word that gets used much, piquant. It's not a, it just means like... Piquant, the way that I've heard it said, is that you describe somebody as piquant, it means they're smelly. It means that they have a distinctive odor. And so I assume that means that just kind of the taste, the flavor, the smell, the overall experience of the jam was less than desired. We can attend a parade right now. In narrow streets huddle in the shadow of a great crag, banners display the stony features of her renewed majesty. Wealthy West Enders will strut by exchanging polite greetings and veiled gossip while sooty East End workers filed to the hour refining factories. Peeling posters promise fresh, wholesome lives in the reach to new arrivals, but most of the posters are years old. More newcomers arrive at Port Prosper than ever leave it. All right. Gaudy banners fly over the painted rooftops of Port Prosper. The smog of the East End is hidden by giant posters displaying dragons in varying degrees of vivisection. The cramped streets are clogged with people. Wealthy West Enders promenade about the amusements while impoverished East Enders work the stalls and huddle by the chestnut fires for warmth. A painted dragon pursued by knights is chased through the crowds to a chorus of "Ho! The riding!" We'll mingle with everybody for right now. Basically, in this place, there's kind of like a class struggle going on. You got to pick a side eventually with the storyline, but we'll kind of keep it even for right now, just so it doesn't bounce back on us. You are treated as a curiosity and viewed from all sides with suspicion. Still, you find yourself in conversation with an elderly colonel who is retired to Port Prosper. A bulwark of sanity, he calls it, a line in the sand against all the stuff out there. He introduces you to one of the riders in Procession who takes you on a tour of the carnival. You converse with chestnut sellers, flower arrangers, drink in the outdoor pubs, and dance with several of the vaudeville players. At the end of the day, you've learnt many names and faces and even acquired a few calling cards. Okay, so I'm tolerated by everybody right now. Now we can join the Llama's Fair, or we can go about our business and try to head back to New Winchester. I honestly think that might be our better play. Head home, buy an upgrade to our inventory space so that we get like a +5 so we can carry 17 around with us. I think that's a good idea. I'm going to sell off some of this fuel and some of these supplies because I'm pobre. There we go. And let's head back to New Winchester. We've pretty much done what we need to do here for right now. We'll keep an eye out for the Chorister Nectar and for the Bronzewood, but aside from that, not a bad day. Oh, yeah, there's another thing that I want. Well, do we want to side with the Tackities? So there is an office here where you can side with the Tackities if you want to. Or, I'm sorry, you can side with the Queen if you want to. You side with the Tackities way, way down on a far edge of the map. There's like a snowy place where they mine for hours. Oh, there's also the Incognito Princess over here. We could get a new officer. I forgot to assign him too, so I guess we'll assign him. The Parsimonious Chairman's Office. The offices of the Windward Company on Port Prosper are elegantly appointed, if antiquated. He pours brandy into 2 glasses, then produces a ruler to measure the amounts. To business. He smiles, revealing the extensive damage to his teeth. I was a pugilist back in London, but that's a young man's game. He stands at the window watching the starlight bathe the sloping streets of Prosper. This place exists because of constant work, Captain. From the politicians who planned it, to the pioneers who built it, to the soldiers who even today defend it from Tackities. We have need of more such work. Bring me the nameplates from Tackity engines. We have lists, and you will be rewarded. Yeah, sure. We'll side with the Queen this time around. It doesn't really matter to me. I've done both, so. He refills your glasses. Cheers. Your glasses clink with another wash of heat that comes from the hearth. I'm glad that there are those in the Reach that are still dedicated to our vision. Okay, so we've done that. I'm not going to pick up the Princess right now because I'm trying to save my money for train upgrades. Like, there's things that I want that'll allow us to earn a lot more money. And until we have those, crewmen are kind of like a secondary concern. We won't be working on their storylines right now. Well, we'll probably work on those later. There was a fight down here, so I may interject myself into that magical experience. But we've got kind of a long ride in front of us, too. It's going to take us a couple minutes to get down to New Winchester, so we'll kind of like see what happens as we play. We do have another busted train over here on our way back to New Winchester. I will dive on in and we'll see what happens. We'll mourn the dead, I guess, on this one to lower our terror. So terror in this game works very, very differently. Oh, there was a bandit around. All right, well, apparently I will deal with him. Open up with a volley. Oh, we got blocked by debris. Oh, ow. Hey, hey, hey. Chill, 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 amigo. Chill. It ain't like that. It ain't like that. I've overheated myself, unfortunately. I kind of shat the bed on that one, so we need to stay moving. Remember to dodge to the left over here. Tag him with one of those. Maybe feed him a few more rounds. That one's going to fall short. Yep. But if I can sneak a shot through right there, we got him. Let's go see what he had on board. We can raid his safe for more money, or we can explore the cabin. I would say exploring the cabin. Having a nice... if you have a lot of gossip is strangely useful. I would recommend having like 15 or 20 of it on you at all times. It's strangely useful. I'm not going to fight with this Tackity Scout right now. I don't see the point. Like, we could wage war, but there's plenty of them around New Winchester that we could mess with, so I'd rather fight them over there, in all fairness. We do need to start getting some XP under our belt, I think, so that we can level up a little bit more and increase our stats. This is the statue of the Great Rat. There are memorials and also horrors in space. If you find them, they will reduce your terror or increase your terror depending on what they are. So like one of them is like a giant egg that has eyeballs sprouting out of it like it's an ancient unholy relic that's just been left in space to consume itself. If you fly by that, yeah, you're going to get a lot of terror. But that right there is memorializing a battle that happened in between Ratmen and a bunch of other people, and so it makes you feel better about space not being quite so dangerous, in case you were wondering. Off to New Winchester. We're almost there. A little bit of a ride in front of us. New Winchester awaits. We've made it all the way back with seemingly very, very little resistance. Nothing's happened, so I think we're all right. I'm going to pull into New Winchester. We're basically just going to repair the train, drop off our port reports, and if we can, then we're going to head north. I think that going to... Actually, no, we needed to go to Titania, didn't we? Titania was to the southeast, right? Southeast is kind of dangerous at this point in the game, but we'll kind of play it by ear and see what happens over there. Some pretty gnarly monsters down that way, and they can definitely end your playthrough nice and early. We're in the most dangerous part of the game right now, where you're basically super weak, super vulnerable, and everything can kill you. So I want to take it slow until we get some upgrades under our belt and we start to become a little bit more resistant to damage. But I did want to come back here and I wanted to buy the inventory upgrade so that our ship has a little bit more storage space so that ferrying around all this loot will not be quite so difficult. We won't be running on shoestring supplies either. That's pretty much all the time we have for today. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Another beautiful episode of Sunless Skies. I hope you'll stop in for more in the future. Take care, everybody. I will see you when next we convene. If you wanted to get the game for yourself, I do highly recommend it. You should definitely check it down below in the description. This is the cargo bay that I'm talking about right here, and that is what I want. And so we'll throw that into our auxiliary slot. That'll buy us an extra 5 units of space. Good stuff. We'll turn in our port reports in the next episode, and then we'll see what adventures await us, all right? How you doing? Take care, everybody.